I have some bad news. Yeah, it wasn't clickbait. This is unfortunately my real life. And trust me, I wouldn't put a clip of me bawling my eyes out on the internet if I wasn't absolutely devastated by what happened. In fact, putting this out actually makes me super uncomfortable. But I really, really care about being honest and transparent on here. More than I care about looking like an idiot.
Guys, I'm really scared.
So, you're probably wondering what the heck happened. And in order to tell you, I need to back up a little bit. In my last video, I got a diagnosis for my knee injury and started rehabbing the thing. In case you're new here, I hurt my knee in December after injuring my finger in September after breaking my toe in May. So it was my third major injury in a row. I'm sure I don't need to tell you just how much that sucks. So, to tell you the story of what's happened now, we're gonna go back to February, where I was rehabbing my knee injury and working my way back. And in case you're wondering why I'm putting all of this online, it's because the whole purpose of this channel is to help and inspire. And if sharing my story, even my lowest of lows, can do that, I'm here for it. Because I am going to get back to the highest of highs. And the good just isn't as meaningful without the bad. Okay, all that said, let's get into it. So here's how things were going in February. A far cry from where they're going to be by the end of the video, but that's exactly why we're starting here, so that you get the whole story. I'm still on lowballs only at this point, and it doesn't really get any more lowball than this climb. And it's my left leg that's injured, which this climb just doesn't use at all.
Oh, I feel like I dabbed anyway.
Yep, definitely dabbed.
Yeah, so I'm like trying to not heel hook as much as I can because it hurts. Oh my calf. Cramped a little bit. Classic. Just try it once more.
Classic. So if you're wondering about this glorious, glorious 0-star lowball, it's called stale chips, and it's on the potato chips builder. In fact, you can see the potato chips climb right there.
So strong.
That move was the crux, if it wasn't obvious by my little yelp there. And can we get a shout out to my spotter pad, providing sun protection instead of ground protection for once. So one lowball down, and now fully warm, I headed over to my main lowball objective of the day. A V6, albeit a very soft one called the Bush. If you recognize this climb, it's because I showed it in my previous video, where I figured out all of the beta but didn't quite have the juice to put it together. You may wonder, why am I showing you this turdy lowball again? Well, friend, it's to paint the full picture of what I was working with. Let's take a look at what happened there. Yep, as if the session wasn't fun enough already, I totally destroyed my fingernail. Just so you can see what I'm talking about. I just absolutely ripped that guy off again. Not psyched. So, I straight up couldn't try the Bush anymore, having had literally one go, in which I felt pretty good and I was pretty sure I was gonna do it. But when your fingernail's dangling off your fingertip, you kinda have to stop. But like the psycho that I am, I insisted on trying a different boulder, because that would be fine, right? Solo night bouldering. So fun. It is fun, sometimes, but my nail hurts a lot, and I can't really try. Can't really crimp or do dynamic moves with my right hand, so Anyway, I've reached the end. Let's pack all of this crap up. It's time to go home, you know? Dinner. Actually, I have more work to do, but in a number of hours there will be dinner. I did just eat a cheese bagel. It was very dry. Okay, I'm gonna stop complaining now. As promised, a few hours later, there was dinner. Ooh, yeah. And the next morning, I woke up and thought, croissant. So I walked over to the local French bakery to pick one up. Thursday morning, why not? Croissant from delicious French bakery, coffee, hell yeah. This is not how my mornings normally go, but you know, sometimes you gotta treat yourself. Oh. Okay, it's safe to say that this video has been pretty freaking upbeat until here, because for the most part, I am pretty upbeat. So word of warning, it's all gonna start to go downhill, and then it's gonna fall off a cliff entirely. Okay, I send that climb first. And look, I'm using my left knee to heel hook. Progress! So the reason that I'm showing you this climb is because it has a board style jump on it. Something that I've historically been very bad at.
Come on. Yes. Oh, sick.
But I've kind of been working on it with this knee injury. I have a lot of limitations at the moment, right? And somewhat surprisingly, board style climbing fits kind of well within them. And it's certainly a skill that I could benefit from acquiring. Really though, hours spent climbing have been very little, and hours spent doing PT have been a lot. Just waiting for my heart rate to go down a little bit. These like plyo knee PT sessions are intense. I just wanted to say that I am so unmotivated lately, ever since I hurt my knee, which is very unlike me. But I broke my toe in May last year, so that's, yeah, March, April, May. So I've basically been dealing with some kind of serious injuries for the best part of a year, and I'm coming off the end of this knee thing, but it just sucks. It just sucks to be so like up and down, and yeah, I'm just like uninspired at the moment. I'm still doing the stuff, I'm training, I'm getting out, I'm getting my PT done obviously, even though classic me, it's you see that? It's 10:15 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You know, good timing. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because I'm trying to keep it real, and that's really what's going on. So I'm hoping that my insane fire for training and climbing and all of the things returns soon. I think it will as soon as I can just like climb the things that I actually want to climb and am inspired to climb, instead of the things that I am able to climb with my current knee restrictions. There's certain falls that I need to avoid. I mean, most of them. There are very few falls that are okay. And I'm just like sick of having all of these restrictions and just constantly having to work around stuff. And I've been doing it for like a really long time now, and it's just hard. Let me do my next set and then I have some more to say. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I'm in a different spot, but I'm back. What I wanted to say is that consistency is the most important thing when you're trying to achieve anything, or at least that's been my experience in literally everything that I've ever tried to do in my life. There's always ups and downs. I mean, this down is particularly deep and unfortunate, but in the downs are the times where it's actually really important to show up and to keep on going. And I know that. It's not like I'm not gonna do that, but that also doesn't mean that it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? I will keep on keeping on. Just, you know, hopefully I don't get any more freaking injuries. Box jumps. It's probably obvious by now that I've been pretty frustrated. Being relegated to lowballs outside will do that to a person. But me being me, which you could perhaps liken to an overenthusiastic Labrador with a thumping tail, I kept trying to up the ante outside. I was like, maybe I can do this climb. Maybe I can do that climb. Maybe if I go here, I'll be able to do this. And while I do think it's really good to challenge your injuries and make sure you are progressing them along as quickly as possible, at the end of the day, you are limited by what is currently happening in your body. So for me, by and large, that just resulted in these really bad sessions.
Whoa!
Where instead of just accepting where I was at and really trying to work within that, I would try to do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, which, as I said, I don't think is fundamentally a bad thing. It just didn't work that well here. Turns out, unlike say a finger injury or a shoulder injury or something like that, bouldering outside with a knee injury is really fucking hard. Why? Because you have to land on the ground all the time. There is no situation where you don't use your knee. But like the stubborn optimist that I am, I just kept bashing my head against the wall. And reflecting back on it now, that only made things worse. Not for my knee was okay because I would always back off before I did anything to it. But for my psyche, I just wasn't having any fun. And if you're not having fun, what's the freaking point? I'm not saying all of this to be woe is me and my life sucks or anything. I'm just trying to paint a picture of where I was at. 3 injuries deep, feeling the least psyched on climbing I had ever felt in my entire life. Keeping up with training and climbing the things that I could climb, not through love, but more through sheer force of will, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm sure you get the picture. Let's get back to some climbing. And some good news. So you know how earlier in the video I was talking about jumps and board style climbing because they fit within all of these limitations that I have right now? Well, somehow, some magical way, I started to become actually stoked on this stuff. Just for a little bit of context in case you don't already know, I am a slab climber. I love balancy stuff, insecure stuff, scary run out stuff, tall stuff, and what I don't love is board climbing. Or at least I haven't loved it up until now. But it's been a glaring weakness in my climbing for years. And right before I broke my toe, which kicked off this whole year of injury, I was actively trying to work on it. But it very much felt like work. With this knee injury though, it became the most fun of the things that were available to me. The ground is perfectly level beneath the board, none of them are super tall, or tall whatsoever. You're not topping out with really high feet or doing gnarly heel hooks, and there are some drop knees, but it's so much easier to just change the problem on the board than it is to pack up all of your gear, find another boulder, etc., when you're climbing outside. It just made sense. And so that was kind of cool. I was feeling really good about it and stoked to be stoked about something, anything in my climbing. But then this happened. Okay, so I just want to come in here and say that this was really hard to film. And you're probably wondering what happened. Basically, I went to the gym for a regular climbing sesh, feeling rested and totally fine. And about an hour in, when I was completely warm and not even trying that hard, I was heel hooking on a climb and my knee went pop. It didn't really even hurt. It was just kind of slightly uncomfortable. And I didn't actually think that anything had even happened. I just thought, okay, my knee didn't like that move, let's go try something else. But after a couple of very half-hearted attempts on something else, something inside me went, hey, maybe you should stop climbing just to be on the safe side. This is the same knee that you've just injured, so let's take it easy. And out of what I thought was an abundance of caution, I packed up and left the gym. And by the time I got home, I couldn't walk. And yeah, I was devastated. I just couldn't believe that I had hurt myself yet again. And after keeping a positive attitude about all of my injuries for the better part of a year, when this happened, I just dissolved, as you've now seen. But yeah, I'm choosing to show all of this and put it out on the internet for people to criticize so that I can first person demonstrate, as I said in the intro, that it is possible to go from the lowest of lows back to the highest of highs, because that is my freaking plan, and that is what I'm gonna do. So, if you want to come along with me and see what happens, subscribe and keep an eye out for my future videos. And just so you know, I don't actually know what's gonna happen yet. As I am editing this video, it's been 2 weeks since knee went pop. So there is a lot that's still uncertain. But hey, at least I'm not crying on my bedroom floor anymore.
Bruh.
With that said, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.